homosexual scholars and cultural critics who migrated to Japan and China, courtesy of the CIA and OSS. Those are your China hands. Those are your Japan hands. Those are your India hands. And I met and talked to some of the remnants of them in Japan. They ran the Japanese studies.
There is a cancer spreading within the Asian community.
I just wish I was white.
A cancer causing people to lose their identity.
Like an Asian denial.
And even start to hate their own race.
Asian men are evil.
That cancer is white worship.
I just really like that milky complexion.
If you want to have gorgeous kids, marry someone not Asian.
Welcome back to the Enemies of Black People. This section we're going to talk about wannabe white supremacists. Namely, wannabe white supremacist Asians, Browns, Indians, etc., a few others. Wannabe white supremacists possibly are the worst and most dangerous. And people that are not white, what I mean by that is Western European, but wanna be white, quickly, whiteness or the thought of whiteness doesn't even come from Europe. There is no context of them calling themselves white until around the 14 or 1600s. Whiteness, or anti-blackness rather, seems to come out of Arabia and India. They were the first to demonize dark skin. That's a whole nother story though. Let's get into the Arabs and Indians first. Dalits, or Dravidians, are black-skinned Indians. They are probably the most downtrodden people on earth historically. They are marginalized in India and given the worst jobs, and in media portrayed as savages who invaded the glorious Indian kingdoms. But in fact, it was the lighter Indian Aryans who invaded India. Marco Polo says black men in India are the most sought after, so at some point in the Middle Ages everything flips and they become the most hated group. Again, another story, but not to even touch a black Indian was a sin. I heard a story of a Dalit child being forced to eat feces because he touched a prominent Aryan Indian. After all that, you have them people coming here like Mindy Kaling's brother attacking black Americans, stating he got into school by faking being one of us, which he still flunked out of. Mindy seems to have bleached her skin as well. Even the light-skinned Aryans are being ostracized in America. They are taking all the white-collar IT jobs and college acceptance, and whites are mad at them. Yet still, people like Denise D'Souza are attacking blacks daily. Ann Coulter even publicly said she would not vote for an Indian, and that's their comrades in arms. These people are tasting racism and still attacking us. Why? Because if they attack us, the thought process is maybe whites will accept them. You have Nikki Haley, another Indian cosplaying as a white woman. Her real name is Nimrata Nikki Rawandawa Haley, which I can't even pronounce. She's also bleached her skin over the years as well. See, they want that white acceptance so bad they will do anything, even bomb other brown people. Gandhi, we know, was no friend of blacks as well. Next up, the Arab immigrants and Middle Easterners. These people treat black people like trash in their countries, and are still slave trading black people. Yet you'll have uneducated Negroes talking about that is my brother in Islam and that's our true religion. Let your religion be your religion, but you need to know about these people and how black Muslims are treated in sand countries. Like trash. These people started white supremacy and demonized the black man first, and now it has bit them in the ass. And no, I can't help. I'm not prejudiced. I don't want to see bombs dropped on anyone. But name me a time an Arab Muslim has come to the defense of a black Muslim kingdom. Never. Those people are not our friends, and we cannot align with them. That's just the truth. Next up, we have the Asians. Lord. So remember around 2020, it was Black Lives Matter and everyone was feeling bad for black people. Well, the government had to stop that because we blacks might actually get something in return and start to get powerful, or even go on our own route and say fuck America. So something needed to be done to stop our movement. In comes Stop Asian Hate. So apparently black people are beating up and abusing Asians now. Now there is a per capita thing where black people are committing a lot of crime. I'm not gonna lie about that. But we are a poor and uneducated people. That's not to make excuses, but we were not like this in the 50s. something happened to us, but that's a whole nother video. But what the Asians don't talk about, if you go to the FBI statistics and look at who attacks Asians the most in hate crimes, it's white people at 55%. Now I know a lot of you Asians are good at math, so if you take that 55 and you round it up, that's 60% who's doing the hate crimes to you. But you never see any Asians talking about that. White people were gunning down Asians in cold blood and you heard nothing back from them. You have Asians all over the web worshipping white people, constantly defending white supremacy, worshipping white men, and I'll get to why in a second. But let's talk about one of the worst, Diane Yap, or as I like to call her, Yuck Yap. This woman is constantly attacking black people online, praising our deaths when Mexicans kill us, but the lady never says anything about the white that are killing Asians. I work in STEM. It's mainly Asians and Indians in the room with me. About half of the company is whites. I know really cool Asians and they always talk to me. Let me tell you something. Asians, when you really talk to them and you get into their culture and you get what's wrong with them, they'll tell you Asian people don't like their eyes. They don't like their small eyes and they don't like their yellow skin. And that's a shame because I think their eyes are really attractive. But in Diane's case, it's even worse. The Southern Asians, who descend from the San tribe, they usually have large lips like Negroes. And these people hate it. So like mixed race people or colored people, what they do, they attack black people because black people are the #1 surface level enemies of the white man. The Asian woman does not want her man, not because he's cruel, sometimes he is, but that's not why. She doesn't want to have ugly Asian children, at least in her mind. It's messed up. If you look at China and the East Asian men go after Asian women who have eye surgery, so they must be blamed like the black man who chases black women with stringy hair weaves. It's bad, man. White supremacy is a mental thing first, and it has taken the whole world. But regardless what any of these bootlicks say or do, deep down, the white supremacist man knows the Asian is his #1 true enemy. Luther Studod, the father of modern white supremacy, talks about this. Any Asians listening, read that chapter in The Rising Tide of Color Against World White Supremacy on Asians. Luther says, do not let the Asians industrialize. And look what happened when they did. See, the white supremacist, that's who I'm talking about. He not only knows that the Oriental has surpassed him in knowledge, but he has an all-around better society than him. Small hats don't control Asia. The people are orderly and it's clean. They have a better code. And he isn't sure in straight up war if he can defeat you. So he uses other cowardly tactics. He puts the Japanese against the Chinese and the Korean versus the Korean. The Asian man is the only missing one thing. And it isn't muscles and it isn't jet fighters. The Asian man lacks confidence. True confidence. I'm a black American man. You can't tell me I'm ugly. Now, she might not want to bring me home, but she still wants a taste. I'm not sure what it is. I say about half whites are racist. Black people, that doesn't matter because we're going for power. But most whites that I talk to, they just want a house and mind their business. They want to live around other whites. And if the Asians make it cheaper and better, they'll buy it. Most white people I know say don't buy a Ford, get an Asian car. See, the elite whites know they can't compete with Asia, and it's getting worse. That includes war technology. So the white supremacist tries to align himself with the Asian on the surface level, even saying Asians are white, until he can find a way to make them go to war with each other, then come in and finish it all off while their backs are turned. I know these people. I work with them in high corporate levels. I've been around top college professors and scholars. Those are the worst racists I've ever met. To be honest, from a war standpoint, the Asians are the only group who can stop white supremacy. Hopefully they all don't go for the easy door of being the white supremacist dog, because a white man is not going to let you or any other non-whites control his economy in the so-called free and open market. The Asians can hate us all they want, but this is the truth. The other truth is, a black man never dropped bombs on the Asian or flooded his country with drugs. That was a white supremacist man that did that to you. It will be interesting to watch the future play out and let us remember where Europeans' black plague actually comes from. Because they do, and they haven't forgotten. Next up, and this is a real tragedy, the natives of the Americas, erroneously called Latinos and Hispanics. This is the worst because these people's ancestors were killed by the millions by Europeans, and they got the nerve to hate black folk. Black people in Latin America are treated like trash. I would say if anyone we should have a unity with the natives. Between North and South America, the stolen Africans and the natives united several times against the Europeans in war. But these people are sick like us, but it's worse because they think they can actually become white. We got Hispanic neo-Nazis. We got, what's the guy's name? Swifty Blue, who cosplays as a black American rapper talking about he don't like blacks or he don't want to sign with them. Hate niggas but want to be one. We got super white supremacist Brandon Martinez. This guy is a serious race soldier. He went to South Africa to radicalize the whites, and I think he's still down there. When you dig into the white supremacy rooms, it turns out they really don't like this guy. You see, he bleached his skin years ago, and he used to look like a Middle Easterner. It's sick shit. The whole world is sick. And these people are mad they are really brown, and they are ready to prove they are white supremacists by attacking us. We gotta watch and be ready. My homie in high school was a Mexican. I chilled with his whole family. I know not all of them are sick, but some of them, they are, and they think they come from Spain. They don't want to talk about the fact that their great-grandmother was attacked by a conquistador, and that's why they look like that. We're going to have to remind them of their story of colonization as well. We're going to have to remind them of those Spaniards who burned their grandfathers alive because they didn't come back with enough gold. It's sick stuff. We have to be ready for it. We have to keep our guard up. Let's move on though. Lastly, the ooze. Not the Jews, but the ooze. My city I grew up in, it was filled with them. We had a large Jewish population, so I know these people. I've worked with them. I know the good ones, the bad ones, the ugly ones. They're not all the same. These people have actually been tormented over the last 2,000 years, possibly worse than us. Jews in Europe were robbed and regularly kicked out of kingdoms and burned alive. There are several paintings demonizing them as actual demons, with devils having bent noses. They have been said to be linked to Negroes. I made a video about this earlier. And that's why I believe they attack us. Look who owns all the music labels. Look how black men and women are portrayed as animals in the media. So either A, they're just doing a job on behalf of white supremacist think tanks, or the CIA, which is the same thing, which I get it, it's just business then. Or B, they really hate us that much. Regardless, we have to keep our guard up. After you make a few $1 million, you should not be working or employed by non-black people. I learned this from working around Asians. They do business with their own. I'm not saying you can't sign a record deal, but after you have 10, 20 million, I mean, what are you doing being employed by some people who ain't black? What are you doing taking orders from them? Now, we gotta be honest. In the early 1800s, a lot of the Jews, they put up the money for HBCUs. That was a different time, and that was a whole different breed of Jew. They knew that they were under white supremacy. They weren't confused about it. But after all the insanity that happened in Nazi Germany, these people still want to be white, meaning European. It's crazy. You see, whiteness, being white is an ideology. It's not a color. Some Asians are white. Some Iranians are white. But to be white, you have to be a Western European. That's what whiteness is. And white supremacists hate Jews most of all. But yet these people still want to be them. It's crazy, and we have to know that. We have to keep our guard up. Let me just say in conclusion, we have to watch out for the other races of men. Don't let anyone talk to you into some kind of POC coalition. There is none. In fact, at times these people are worse than white folk. Our people are not tethered to any other group, not religion, not politics, not nationality. Our goal is to become a strong and morally upright people, not a bunch of bootlicking servants, so we can defend ourselves so what happened over the last 500 years never happens again. And we can make the world the way it used to be. So y'all stay up, y'all stay black, the struggle continues. 1.